Hello, this is Fleur Majestrix, and we are at the second extra part. This will be going over the Pokemon you will find on Route 2 and in Passage Cave. We're going to start off with Owlton, or it's supposed to be called Owlton, but I call it Owlton. It is another normal flying Pokemon, and it is the Spearow clone of the game. It also has one of the odder designs, not the oddest, but one of the odder ones. It is some form of cat owl, and it kind of reminds me of Null from Lunar. Its abilities are Serene Grace or Insomnia. Insomnia prevents it from falling asleep, and Serene Grace increases the odds of secondary effects on attacks happening. So, like if an attack has a chance to paralyze, it increases the odds of that paralysis happening. If an attack can cause you to flinch, it increases the odds of the flinch happening. So it's not a bad ability by any means. It's just that it's on better Pokemon in this game. It does though have the speed to make use of the flinch aspect of Serene Grace without using paralysis. But honestly, combining paralysis and flinch together are just really good. But it's a fast physical attacker, and it becomes a faster physical attacker when it evolves into a Shouten at level 20. So it still keeps its normal flying type, and it still keeps the same two abilities you can get with the same hidden ability, and it just becomes faster. It becomes faster. It hits a little bit harder. That's why I put it in the air quotes. It's like Achilles to me is just a lot better than this thing because, again, well, Raptorch in general is just better than it because when it evolves, it becomes much faster. It hits harder. And it's a little bit, I think it's to some degree a little bit bulkier. I think that it's slightly swishier, but it doesn't really matter when I find that Fire Ground's just a lot better for a speed-based offensive Pokemon than normal flying. So, yeah. Because there's not much else to really say on a Shouten. It's not that interesting. Again, design-wise, it's just kind of, it sticks out design-wise, but later on, you'll find there are just designs that stick out even more. I guess it helps you understand the designs in Uranium are a bit odd, but yeah. So on Route 2, you can also find Mankey. We all know Mankey. Mankey is just a pure fighting type Pokemon. It's fast and it's supposed to hit hard. And yeah, its abilities are Vital Spirit or Anger Point. Vital Spirit makes it so that, again, it can't fall asleep. And Anger Point means if it's hit with a critical hit, its attack stat will automatically be raised to the max. So yeah, its base stats are, again, I don't really care too much for the base stats for first evolutions unless they're like really bad, but it's still, those tend to change as they evolve anyway. So yeah, it's fast and it hits hard. That's what Mankey does. You can find as a 5% encounter rate on Route 2. So there's 5% chance to find it. At level 28, it evolves into Primeape. And again, all it does is just go fast, move faster, and hit harder. That's really it for Primeape. It's just a pure fighting type. It's meant to show you what a fighting type Pokemon does. They hit things really hard. And when you ever get the item Jungle Crown, the Jungle Crown item, which is unique to Uranium, and you evolve and you level up a Primeape once with this item, it becomes the first of the fan evolutions of older Pokemon, Emperilla. So this is Emperilla. It is, again, a pure fighting type, nothing new added to it, except a new ability, which is unique to Uranium, called Infuriate. Infuriate means whenever it's hit with a contact move, its attack stat will be raised by 1. That's not bad if it was faster. And Emperilla is not slow, but it's the same base speed as Primeape with just some extra points in attack. It is bulkier to some extent, but it's still like, it doesn't do anything for me. It really doesn't. I was never a giant fan of Mankey and Primeape, so I was not that happy when I saw this in Uranium. I just don't find it that great, honestly. There are better fighting Pokemon you can find. There's one coming up in not the next route, but After the second gym, there's just a better fighting type to me you get. So next up, if you saw part 4, I had an annoying time with these things. Tonmies. They're not annoying to beat. They're more annoying because in Passage Cave, all they can do, they mainly use poison gas, and they also have poison sting. So all they like to do is poison you. Tommy is also an odd Pokemon again, design-wise. Like, the purple part of it's fine. It's just the weird furry parts of it, which are weird. Like, also color-wise, it just doesn't sticks out. It just doesn't look right. It looks fine in this picture, because that's what fan art does. But, when game, it just doesn't look that great. And it also just isn't that good in general. Again, it's a pure poison type. It'll stay a pure poison type when it evolves, and it has the ability to levitate, meaning it cannot be hit by ground moves, which is good considering it's weak to ground, meaning it'll be only weak to psychic. It's very fast though, and that's really all it is. It's very fast, and I hope you like that speed, or I hope you don't care for the speed actually, because at level 20 it becomes Tofurang, and it gets even worse in appearance, in my opinion. It loses Levitate for Intimidate, meaning it's now weak to both ground and psychic. So it just gained back its ground weakness. So you think, oh, that must mean it's going to be really, really bulky. Intimidate, that's not bad. Cuts your attack stat. Sounds great, right? Right? No. First off, it loses its speed. Second off, it just gains minor defenses. 85 both with 100 base to me is not that good for a pure poison type that does nothing interesting other than be a tank. There are just so many better tanks in this game, and you get a better tank, in my opinion, with the same special defense in this cave for a final evolution. So the only thing that other tank doesn't have on this is HP, but it's just so much better. This thing is already like just outclassed by the other tank in this cave, which is Barrule. Barrule is a Steel Rock Pokemon with Sturdy or Rock Head. Sturdy means if it would take any hit that would bring it to 1 HP, any hit that would be fatal for it, it automatically hangs on with 1 HP, like it's a Focus Sash, basically. Sturdy is a Focus Sash as an ability. Rock Head, though, it prevents recoil moves from hurting you. So if you use a move like Takedown, you will not take the recoil damage. Also, its design may look weird, but I actually kind of like this Pokemon. I used it in my first playthrough, and I found it was very helpful. So it has a base 90 physical defense. So on its first stage, it's already a better physical wall than Tofurang. It's just slower. But it evolves into Deerul at level 15. And Deerul is kind of unique because this was an added midway evolution, because originally it just evolved into Garurul at level 32. But this is added as a mid-stage evolution. So yeah. Again, only has the same 2 abilities, and it gets far more physical defense. It becomes even more of a physical wall, and its attack stat is nothing to scoff at, especially at the point where you're going to get it. Steel Rock isn't a bad typing defensively, but it's going to theoretically, I guess, become a little bit better. I mean, it's up to you to decide if it will or not defensively, but at level 32, it becomes Garurul, where it drops the rock typing and becomes a pure steel Pokemon with both Sturdy again or Rock Head as its abilities. And again, it's just, this thing is really helpful. I found it's very helpful in the story mode because the new typing in the game, Nuclear, is very annoying. And this is the only pure steel typing in the game. And it's very important that you realize there's a reason I say it's good that it's the only pure steel typing in the game. You'll find out later, but it's very nice. And also I like its design a bit. It's like this weird steel giraffe thing, and it looks kind of cool, actually. So it gets a really good base 140 physical defense. Base 100 attack for a pure steel type isn't bad. It is still slower than Tolfarang, but it already has that same base 85 special defense and a base 75 HP. So it's not the best with its HP, but that physical defense is really good. It's a very solid physical wall. It hits hard, and I'd recommend Rockhead, honestly, is its ability for story mode. You could go for Sturdy if you want. Sturdy has a little bit more of its uses, sometimes in story mode, but there's a way to get around the lack of Sturdy later on anyway. So Rockhead's really good because Garurul learns Head Smash later. And Head Smash does a lot of recoil damage, has the same accuracy as Stone Edge, but hits harder. So you basically give it a rock move that's really powerful. Now, you can decide if the slightly weaker Stone Edge is worth it, because Stone Edge still hits really hard, and having the extra critical hit ratio is nice. So it's up to you to decide if you want more raw damage or want to deal with the extra critical hit ratio. But honestly, I went with Head Smash, and I really liked Head Smash on it. Also, Garurul can also learn Rock Smash via HM, and you need Rock Smash, so I'd recommend catching a Garurul for that alone. Plus, its typing really helps for the first gym. Next is Grozard, a just mono ground Pokemon. Its abilities are Sandveil and Arena Trap. I'd recommend Arena Trap because Sandveil requires an entire team setup to use it. Same for its hidden ability, Sandforce. It's a very fast Pokemon. It's just very frail. And that's really all I have to say. It's mono ground. It's very frail in the beginning, kind of hard to level up, but a level 22 becomes a little bit better when it becomes Turlard. It then becomes Ground Dragon. I like Turlard's design. It's just a really good Pokemon. Well, really good in air quotes. It can be useful in story mode, but I find its actual power, even in story mode, is a bit lacking. You get it early level 22, or you can catch it as a boss fight later. But the problem is its base stats leave a lot to be desired as a ground dragon. This Pokemon could have really benefited from a third evolution, but Uranium decided to, 1, kind of gimp it on its stats, and 2, not give it a third evolution. Its base speed is lower than a Shouten and Raptorch when he evolves. He doesn't hit as hard as Raptorch when Raptorch evolves. The only thing it has is, I think it's slightly bulkier, but it doesn't matter because I just prefer the idea of, if you have a ground Pokemon supposed to be a sweeper, I prefer Raptorch's ground fire typing with much higher speed and higher attack stats. Also, its special attack might be 5 points higher. What's weird is it doesn't really get that many special moves to really benefit it. And also, as a dragon type, you think you get Dragon Claw. No, it instead uses Dual Chop, and it can't learn Dragon Claw. I know, because I used one, and I got the TM for Dragon Claw, and I couldn't teach it to it. So, it's kind of as a Pokemon. I love its design, but it kind of ended up getting the shaft. To, again, much like there's a theme in Passage Cave. Sometimes one Pokemon's going to be overshadowed by the other in this area. And, well, guess what? Dunsparce overshadows Grozard by a lot. I know that's going to be weird for me saying Dunsparce is overshadowing a ground dragon, but we'll get to that. Dunsparce is a normal type Pokemon. It has Serene Grace or Runaway. Neither of those matter which one you get, since it will evolve. And its evolution has just one ability. It has a lot of base HP for what it has, and it has a very wide move pool, but its stats usually just didn't warrant it to be used. It really wasn't that good, and it couldn't really make good use of its wide move pool, which is kind of the problem of Dunsparce. But if you get its new move for Uranium, Skyfall, at level 42, or you breed one that has Skyfall on it, whenever you level up with the move Skyfall, it becomes Dunseraph. Looking on at your new God Snake. He is called the God Snake Pokemon for a reason. So this is Dunseraph. It only has Serene Grace, and Skyfall automatically already works with Serene Grace. It's a special flying move that has a chance to paralyze the opponent. Awesome. So already it's overshadowing in that regard, but it overshadows in other ways too, and it also overshadows Topherang as a tank, especially as an HP tank, because Dunseraph packs one of the highest HP, base HP stats in Uranium of base 150. And may not be as bulky as Garurul, or may even not be overly as bulky as, Topherang, but the defense is only a 5-point difference with much higher HP, a better special attack stat, and a decent physical attack stat to work with. It's also faster than Topherang, which doesn't matter because Serene Grace with a dragon flying like this that has access to paralyze and air slash generally leads to paraflinch as your main strategy on this. There are other things you can do, but it is a tank, and it is actually pretty good to get. I was thinking of catching a Dunsparce to just use this monster. I just kind of am tempted against it. But yeah, this is Dunseraph. I'm not a fan of its design. It just looks more hilarious than anything else. But I have seen in the comments lower in the wiki, everyone's like, this is what Game Freak should do. We should have a really stupid dragon flying looking Pokemon like this. I don't know. It's fine if other people like it. I just don't. But yeah, those are the Pokemon you get. Out of the ones I recommend, Barrool, Dunsparce. You can pick up Grozard if you really want one. And that's really what I'd recommend, honestly. If you really want a Shouten, you can get it. Emperillus is just, to me, not worth it. This is the much better fan original Pokemon evolution. So yeah, that'll be it for this extra part. We will be back with Pokemon Uranium, the playthrough, some other time. So thank you and have a good day.